guys. This is Melissa Zad working in partnership with Ring Walk UK Media, and I am absolutely delighted to be joined by none other than Chris Jenkins, the current British and Commonwealth welterweight champion. Chris, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. I'm not too bad. I mean, always better when the sun is shining. Have you had a chance to enjoy your day?
Yeah, the boys have been in school, the twins have, but the 2-year-old's been with us all day. So we've just been in the garden enjoying, and obviously the kids have come home and we've put a swimming pool up for them, so they're in the house now, warming up because it might be warm, but the water's rather cold.
Yeah, it's not even that warm. It just looks extremely warm, but it's quite chilly still.
Yeah, well, we're lucky where we live. The sun's really, quite a lot to be honest with you. There's no buildings and nothing, so it's nice. But in the house now, temperature has dropped, so it's nice time for me to go for a run now. But it's just in the house.
Nice. How has it been? I mean, obviously with your little ones, how's it been during the pandemic and kind of looking after them and then being in and out of schools? How has that been, managing that?
To be honest with you, the pandemic came in, got a good woman, me and my wife. She does a lot. So where I was going to the gym, where I was supposedly being penciled in the fight, that got called off. And then I think I didn't even go training for a good 8 weeks because the gyms got closed down, maybe longer than that. So, it's been all right. We've been trying to make them do homework, but, in my eyes, you go to school to learn, you don't learn in the house.
It's just different, I think, as well, because I feel like everything came to a standstill, not just like for children at schools, but like obviously the rest of us as well. Definitely there was a pause when it came to boxing. So let's talk about that in some depth, because if we rewind to back before the pandemic, obviously 2019 was a really big year for you professionally. It was the year that you obviously had the British, you were successful in getting the British title and then the Commonwealth as well. So that was a really big year for you. How did you take that in your strides?
To be honest with you, I had a fight. I had to have a fight at the championship weight. So we took a fight, and then Gary said there's a possibility you'd be fighting for the British. And you know what? It just went the way we trained for it. I just took it all in. Hard work pays off, really.
100%, 100%. And what a successful year it was for you. But obviously, after 2019, there was this big pause, and you haven't fought since mid 2019, late 2019.
I think it was November 2019 I boxed last, and I got stopped in the fourth round for an accidental head clash. So yeah, it's been how can I say, it's been very pissed off, as you could say, but what can we do about it?
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot to be done about it. And of course, there's lots of boxers who are obviously in a very similar position, not being able to fight in 2020. And then, of course, we came into 2021, and then we had the fight scheduled between yourself and Essuman, which was meant to take place on March the 27th, and then had to be postponed due to your injury, your perforated eardrum.
Tell me about it. Everything was going fantastic. My strength and conditioner, Joel Thompson. We've been in the sea, believe it or not, through the winter. It was freezing cold when sea swims, down the dock swims, because the gyms were closed around January, February. There was no access to a gym, so we were doing all of our work outdoors, like proper caveman, basically lifting logs and things like that. But he's very knowledgeable in what he does. He knows what works for me. And then I think it was just a week and a few days out, I was sparring. And feeling great, and then I just got caught on my ear, and I didn't think nothing of it at the time. Obviously, I got ringing in the ear, and my balance was a bit dodgy, but got the rounds out, no problem. Went home, and then I started having pain on my left side, so I thought, what the hell's going on here? So, being a boxer, like many fighters out there, you just think they're niggles in camp, aren't they? So I went for a run, I come home, woke up next morning, and I had a pool of blood in my ear.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, my wife seen it, and she looked at me as if I had two heads, believe it or not. She's like, what? And I was like, I know that. I know that,
She was so worried seeing that.
Yeah, she was worried, but I went up to Cardiff and I spoke to Cardi, and then we went to see the doc, and the doc said basically my eardrum had shattered, basically gone.
And then obviously, couldn't go through with the fight. How did that make you feel?
Don't get me wrong, I was angry, pissed off, annoyed, everything going through my head, and then the money that I'd spent on camp, the time I've taken off work, the sponsor that I had to come on board to help me out through camp as well. I felt as if I let everyone down, including myself. But then, I sat back then, and it took a couple of days to sink in, and then I realized it's only going to be delayed. It's still going to happen. The fight's still going to go ahead. At the end of the day, the British Boxing Board of Control are paramount on safety of fighters. They're the best out there. So, they're thinking of the fighter. After boxing, I've got a family and stuff, so you can understand where they are coming from. It did take me a couple of days, but I'm happy. I'm back in training now. Obviously, there's no impacts on the ears. I'm not on the sea, so I'm glad in the wakes it's rather cold. But I'm just checking over now in the gym. I got a checkup now tomorrow with the doctor. We'll have some news, and if I'll be able to fight mid to late May.
That'll be exciting, wouldn't it?
Oh mate, I can't wait. Just to have the all clear off the dock. Then, hopefully we'll be out now next 4 to 6 weeks. Will be lovely.
Yeah, of course. I mean, sorry for prying. I just do want to know, for my own intrigue. So obviously, because you've had the injury on the ear, and the board kind of said, you're not fit to fight. Does that affect your license at the time? And do you have to do tests to get your license back? How does that work?
I don't know. All I do know is that I'm going to see a British Boxing Board of Control doctor.
Okay, yeah.
He's high up as well. He's I don't know what he does, but he's a really, really top surgeon, not just in Wales, but UK. Skin specialist, I think he is. And I just basically going to go and see him. And as soon as he says I'm safe to fight, that's basically the path then, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Well, best of luck with that. I'm really excited that that's tomorrow. That's really cool. Hopefully you'll get the all clear.
I'll be sweating, going in like you always do. It's nervous. The only time I go to see him is when I need stitches done, or if I got something on like this now.
Yeah, of course. So Chris, tell us about, because I know you mentioned your strength and conditioning, and I know this is a little bit off the chronological order, but it's very interesting. So obviously, because the gyms were shut, your strength and conditioning had to happen in the great outdoors. Tell us about some of the stuff that you were doing. You mentioned the sea, you mentioned logs. How did that look?
I was like, I don't mind, because I'm up for a laugh. I got a funny shaped head. If I go to the side like that, I got a forehead, so I fitted in quite well, but it was good. But we were having some looks, we were doing weighted runs with a sled behind me up these where dog walkers go, and there was people just looking at me going, what is he doing? And then when I was just down the road from my house down here, there's a river, got a nice deep river, and I had to run to about 3 miles, and he said, right, get in the river. And I was like, you what? Sit in the river. So I was in the river, and he was asking me questions about myself. When did you have your first fight? Who was your first fight you boxed? What date were you born? Like all memory. And there was a gentleman actually standing above, looking down, going, is there something wrong with you? And I was like, no, mate, it's like I'm training. And, you know, but it's good because it worked on your mental strength as well. Because in this game, you might be physically strong, but as soon as you start getting weak in the rounds, then because you're not mentally strong, you're going to lose the fight.
That's a very good point. I mean, they say that so much of the sport is actually more mental than it is physical. Of course, you have to make sure you have a good engine and you're a great athlete all round. You know, it's a very cross athletic sport. You know, you've got to be good at a lot of stuff to be good at boxing. I think that you've touched on a really excellent point, which is if you're not strong mentally, that's the kind of resilience that gets you through those later rounds, you know, when you're in the championship rounds, etc.
Yeah, I just think, you know, you see it in certain fights. They may be good enough to mix it at that level, but then it gets to the tough part of the fight, and they're like, "Whoa, I don't know if I can do this." And it's like, I know I can do it. I've been in the docks down internationally, West Wales. I think it was 2 degrees, maybe 0 degrees that morning. And yes, I'm lucky that Joel actually got me a sweatsuit, so I can wear it in the water. But it doesn't make a difference. You know, you're in
Temperature.
20, and then you're in the car then, and you are, as soon as he's gone, you're swearing and you're, you know, but it makes you mentally stronger, you know. And like I said, in this game, you've got to be, that's not mentally strong, but you got to be, people that take a bit of shit that people may tweet you and stuff like that, you know. I've had it, and, you know, I got thick skin. Sometimes I do bite, but I've had Gary Lockett, now my coach, has been since I joined him in 2015. You know, he tells me, don't need to interact with clowns, you know what I mean? Just leave him to it.
You actually have, I'll be honest with you, you know, from what I've seen, you actually have a really good approach. A lot of, you know, interviews of yours I've seen in the past, you've kind of got this really like, it is what it is mentality, which I really respect, because in this sport, you really do need that. So that kind of leads me on quite nicely into my next question, which is obviously in 2020, there was lots of talks about a matchup with Conor Benn. And he was a mandatory challenger at the time, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
So in terms of that, how did you find out that that wasn't going to happen, and how did you feel about it?
It all came about because Johnny Gardner had to retire. He had family, you know what I mean? It must have been a tough thing with what he's done. So then it was Conor Benn got chucked into mandatory position. So obviously Warren, and he's ready. And so they was meant to go to Perspect, and I found out roughly 2 to 3 days before Perspect were due in. There was an offer sent over to me, but Frank was going to stick a big offer to get me to fight Ben on a Warren show. You know what I mean? So at the time, it was angry, annoyed, pissed off. He pulled out. They possibly did lose out on the biggest payday I've had in boxing. But it's like Gary said to me, didn't have the money in the first place, so you haven't really lost anything at all. But granted, I've been training really hard in the gym, but it is what it is. You know, this people think this boxing's an easy, you know, it's a fairy tale. It ain't. You know, you get ups and downs. I'm holding 2 belts at the minute. I've not boxed for a year and a half. No fault of my own. You know, I don't get sponsors. I gotta work just to get by in life, you know. And that is the harsh reality. People think when they see Anthony Joshua on telly, or they see Big AJ on telly, or they're earning millions, that every fight is the same, you know. I get by. I don't live a materialistic lifestyle. As long as I got food in the cupboard for the children, they're clothed, and the bills are paid, you know, I don't care. You know, like I said the other day to somebody, I'd go down the caravan, I'd camp in my back garden and go abroad. But then again, now with this COVID, I think I'd lose my left hand just to go abroad for the wife.
Wouldn't we all? I mean,
Oh man.
But no, I think that, you know, it's a good mentality to have. But I do remember that that was a fight that you wanted. And so I can imagine that it was quite disappointing at the time. Has it been difficult or tricky for you to see Ben go on and get the exposure that he's had since that time?
No, not at all. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, he's basically living his own story in the boxing. You know, I'm writing my own book. He's writing his own book. You know what I mean? I wish him all the best. If we cross paths, we cross paths. You know, Eddie Earn from Matchroom's doing a great job promoting him, getting him the right fights at the right time. You know, good luck to the lad. You know, if we do cross paths, we cross paths. You know, I ain't got a bad word to say about it. This is, believe it or not, this is a business, isn't it?
It is exactly that. I really respect that mentality. Speaking of, you know, other welterweights, obviously, welterweight division in the UK is absolutely booming. It's a really exciting division to be a part of. Obviously, we've seen recent fights like Avanesian v Kelly, McKinson v Congo. What do you make of the up and coming welterweights in the division?
The welterweight in the UK alone is not just because I'm a welterweight fighter, but I think that's the best division in the UK. Because you know, Mickelson against Congo, you know, everyone was saying that Congo was going to beat him, and I know Mickelson. I speak to Mickelson. I've spoken to him. I know of him as well, and you know, I knew he was going to win that fight. It was going to be close. And Mickelson's a very good fighter. He's an underrated fighter as well. Josh Kelly, Avanesi's quality, you know, he's
great. It's absolutely great.
He's just, I don't know, he's just an ad son of a bitch. There we are.
Yeah, he's so hard. It's crazy.
Yeah, but Josh Kelly then, you know, was it too soon? Who knows? You know, the fight that should have happened should have been him against Ben, and then the winner take. But you know, the welterweight division is there. You know, the top 10, top 12, top 15, even are all up in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's an absolutely solid division, and I know that there's people coming through the ranks as well. I would agree with you. I think that it's probably one of my favorite divisions, definitely as a fan, you know, a fan of the sport. It's a really, really exciting division because there's power, there's also speed. You know, it's not like people are too heavy, they're not also too light. So there's a lot going on, which makes it extremely exciting to watch. And I'm really excited to see how the rest of the year plays out. But coming back to you and your career, I mean, you know, you've been in the game for a while, and you're a solid operator. You've had some ups and downs.
I know.
You didn't say that. You said that.
I'm old. 33 in August, so yeah, I'm old.
I wouldn't say that's old. Come on, Chris. Let's be fair, right? I mean, at the end of the day, 33 now is different from 33 10 years ago. You know, we know a lot more scientifically about our bodies, etc. So, you know, you've got time ahead of you. But obviously, you know, you've had some ups and downs within your career and also outside of your career as well. What would you say is some of the toughest challenges that you've had to overcome in boxing and also, you know, alongside boxing in the time that you've been in the sport?
Obviously, I blew on the scene in 2013 when I won prize like that. And I had a chance of fighting for the British, and then I lost. I drew, then I lost, and then it was tough then because from 2015 on till I actually won the belt 2019. I was in the Who Needs Me club. I'd been there. I was taking fights at the last minute. That's why I joined Gary's, because he had, you know, he had a lot of friends in boxing, and there could have possibly been opportunities coming back. But obviously, outside the ring, then day before my birthday, my friend took his own life basically. That was a tough year to 18 months trying to get over that. You know, it's proper struggling with that. But then putting a fake smile on, you could say.
Mm.
No, that's wrong with me, but then having times myself and you know, just, but then I won the belt, so all that struggles was worth it then. But then, believe it or not, then my other mate then have only gone and taken his own life. Literally, must have been a couple of weeks after me winning, or a couple of months after me winning the British title. And a friend that I known for flip now since I was 14. So, but I weren't gonna go down route. The second time round that I went down the route the first time round when I lost my first mate.
Mm.
I realized that you got to open up to people, and you know, there's a lot of people out there who don't open up to people. Like there's somebody right there with them, and they won't open up to them. They'll fight it themselves. So you know, I learned to open up to the wife, and not only that, I learned to open up to my own coach as well, Gary. You know, I speak to Gary openly now about anything. So I think I was growing up as well.
I mean, those are some really tough experiences. I can't even imagine, you know, the kind of thoughts and feelings that you were having at the time. Do you feel that, because as I understand it, there were times where you were close to walking away from the sport. Do you feel that, you know, perhaps even boxing and being kind of like locked into boxing helped you overcome these challenges?
Yeah, well, I nearly finished the game. I boxed Dara Foley. I boxed up in Scotland for a WBC Youth World title. Mind you, I was too old to win the belt, but I still boxed anyway for it. And I can't think I saw my wife crying like a little bitch. I'm finishing this game, I'm done, I can't be bothered no more. And she's like, no, you gotta keep going now, come on, you can do it. Then I spoke to Gary and said, look, I'm done. And he said, don't be stupid. I said, no, I'm done, guy. I can't be bothered no more with this. I'm getting cut. I'm going home to my kids. I got a big, massive cut on my eye. They won't come near me. I'm getting paid pennies. And it's not fair. But then we just had good people around me, you know, supporting me and making me realize that, you know, I am actually an athlete, some fighter, and all this wanker that people think I am. So it's quite cool.
100%. And also you're building a legacy, you know, you're building a legacy for your kids. You're showing them, you know, what you can achieve when you focus and when you know, push yourself to succeed in something that you are passionate about. So that's really cool. I mean, all of that stuff aside, obviously you've got this checkup tomorrow coming with the doctor, and hopefully you get the all clear. If everything goes according to plan, what are some of the things that you would like to achieve before the end of the year?
Tomorrow now, if we get the all clear that it's thereabouts, I'm hoping to get a fight out in end of May, be ideal for me. Then I'm actually going on a TV show in June. So then I'd love to have another. My main goal is to defend this belt and win the belt outright and keep it in my family for generations. You know, there's fighters out there now. No disrespect, and they might have only had 2 fights and they're already saying they're going to be the next world champion. But I'm a realist. I won't run before I can walk, and I win the British belt outright. Anything has to be a bonus.
100%. Well, Chris, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me. I wish you all the best for tomorrow, and really looking forward to seeing you back in action.
No, I can't wait to fight as well. It's been too long. I think I forgot out of the box now.
Nah, I don't think so.
No. I'm in the gym now in Cardiff. I'm up there like 2-3 day week, and then I'm working like 2-3 day weeks. So as soon as I get a go ahead, then I stop the work and just get straight into camping.
Absolutely, it's very exciting. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy your run this evening and the rest of your week as well.
8 o'clock run for me.
Have fun with it.
All right then. Take care. Yeah.
You too. Take care.
Go. Ta-ra.
Bye. Bye.